Hey, how y'all doing? Wanted to give you an update from down here in Texas. We'll do geography first. I realize a lot of people in states further to the north are looking at 8 inches of snow and what is going to be about 2 weeks of weather around freezing and laughing at Texas for our inability to adapt to this inclement weather. We're really south. So like there's a lot of Mexico that is further north. You know, like where you go to vacation in really Caribbean-like climates in Mexico. We're further south than that. We're so far south, like we're 2,000 miles north of the equator. That's way down there. We have had snow here 2 times in the past decade, and now we are sitting with 8 inches of snow and ice and sleet and frozen rain on top of all of that. It's stretched everything to its limit. When I say everything, it's the things that people rely on to survive. Our water and our electric specifically, those things are failing. ERCOT just today, which is the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, they came out and said that if these rolling blackouts don't work, we might see a total grid collapse. So total grid collapse looks like no one has power for weeks, if not months on end. That's total grid collapse. So right now they're doing rolling blackouts. We are spending somewhere between 50 to 75% of our time without power. I have generators, I have freezers. Obviously it's frozen outside, so I can just move my food outside. And I have a lot of food, but not everybody's situated like me. Like, I get it. I'm kind of a prepper. Not kind of, I am a prepper. So there's some inconvenience to my life of moving generators and, checking oil and making sure fuel is set. But the vast majority of people don't have access to resources like that. So before you start throwing stones, realize that no one here is accustomed or prepared for this kind of weather. I know I got the 7 Ps. Was it proper planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance? Yeah, I got it. This never happens down here. Anytime any of my friends from the north come down here, and within days, they're sweating and begging for the first flight north because the climate is so hot. That's what it's normally like here, but that's not what it's like here now. Water lines are freezing. Entire cities are shutting off water because so much of the water pipes have burst. The nuclear power plants that we have here, they're cooled by water. They had to shut off one of those because the pipes froze. So our green energy in Texas, somewhere between 10 to 20% of our energy comes from green energy. That is a big old zero right now. So if you had a total capacity of 100, right now we're somewhere between that 80 to 90 like production, because the windmills aren't working, solar's not working. They're frozen and they're covered in ice and they're covered in snow. Rolling blackouts, if they don't work, we might see total grid collapse. Now, I'm out in the country, so I have the ability to generate some of my own power. I have solar, like I said, I have generators. But when you look at like Austin specifically, there's such a demand for energy in Austin. They only have a few means to generate power, and those means are frozen right now. And they're redistributing. That sounds cool. Doesn't that scare you? They're redistributing power to meet demands in other places. So I get it. You want to take care of you and yours, but if all of us could use a little bit less energy, that'd be helpful. If you could not do that extra load of laundry, if you could, take a cold shower and use your water heater a little less, like these are all things that would go a long ways. So FM 2176, it is the Army's Guide to Survival. And I'm going to leave you with this. There's a lot more to do and a lot more to talk about and a lot more to prepare. But so they have this survival acronym. And the first one is to size up the situation. So let's do that. So S, survival. size up the situation. We have 3 or 4 more days of cold. I got it. We just got a whole bunch of more freezing rain, and that stinks. But by the weekend, in 4 days from now, we're going to see temperatures well above freezing, and things are going to be thawing out. Then we'll be able to assess damage. So in 4 days, do you have enough food and water? Don't get reckless, and don't do things that are going to cause more damage down the road. So Undue Haste makes undue waste, and then use all of your senses. In that, don't rush. I drove by the supermarket today. I posted a video of hundreds, if not thousands, of people in line. Do you need to go to the grocery store? If you do, go. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. But when you are throwing away an extra food and you're not really thinking about what you might be able to use tomorrow, I was guilty of this myself. I made this big, huge brisket that I corned and made corned beef hash, and I didn't want extra potatoes in my corned beef hash, so I took the potatoes and I threw them away. This was 2 days before the freezing rain came in. Then I started making a different dish, and I was like, man, if I had those extra frozen potatoes, that'd be so awesome. This would have been a way better meal, but we didn't, so we went without. Remember where you are. The R of survival. We are in Texas. We are tough people, the toughest, I argue, in the world. But Texans, we're made of different stock. So remember who you are, remember where you are. It's going to be warm here again, and you guys are going to have your, 100 days consecutive of temperatures over 100 or whatever silliness happens down here because it gets hot. Vanquish fears and panic. You don't need it. It doesn't help anything, and it doesn't help you. If you are working off of fear, if you are looking at the news, if you're going through Twitter, if you're going on Instagram, and you're just being fed fear, you're going to be making bad decisions. Don't work in fear. Get out of fear. Improvise. Some things with my generator weren't working right. I had to run cords. I had to ventilate the attic with another space heater, making sure that it was a heater that was okay to use inside. So Improvise, man, if my filter to my generator started getting really gross, what could I use to replace that filter? Seeing how I only have 4 filters. No, I'm just kidding. I have plenty of filters, but I'm using that as an example. What can you use to replace that filter and still serve the same function? There's lots of different things. Value living. The mission statement of my company, Sheepdog Response, is to preserve and protect human life. That's all life. We value it, and we want you to value it too. So value living. A lot of people have died from this snowstorm. I think there are already over 30 deaths. People have inhaled gas. They have carbon monoxide. They have started cars and garages to try and stay warm. People have died from freezing exposure. So value living and make decisions that are the good decisions to value yourself and your family's lives. And then last, act like the natives. I say go ugly early. Act like the natives. If you haven't been out splitting wood, if you haven't been shoveling snow, if you haven't been thinking about hunting or what you're going to do with your chickens to make sure that they continue to produce eggs, how you're going to purify water, how you're going to heat up something to give the baby a bath. All of these things people have done for thousands of years without power, so I think we could do it now. But you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and act like a native. So survival, it's a great acronym. They're great tools, and it's a great concept to live and work by. But you need to prepare. You need to start getting trained, and after this cold spell dissipates, you need to get ready for what's going to come in the future, because there are worse things coming besides cold weather. Stay safe and stay free and stay warm.